Greetings hobbyists, this is Artisans of Vol, and in this video we're going to have a look at some Boolean theory while creating this jet engine exhaust. So this video is going to be quite beginner friendly in that it deals with some relatively simple concepts to understand. However, in reality there's a lot of people that I'd put at an intermediate or maybe even a high intermediate level that don't seem to consider these things in their workflow. And that's okay, because this can seem like a bit of a pedantic thing, and I like pedantic details, but it can be really important in your decision making. But if as a beginner you can learn this early on, you're going to save yourself a lot of annoyance unlearning bad habits later and actually thinking about what you're doing to make a decision that's right for you. So the way we're going to do this is I'm going to set up everything and all the booleans that are part of this jet engine. Normally you'd do this bit at a time probably, but the order you do it a bit at a time and boolean everything together is the important bit. So let's start by making a cylinder. I'm going to up this to 128 vertices so it's quite nice and round. I model for 3D printing, so we want everything being quite smooth. Let's S to scale it up, Control and A and apply the scale, and then I'm going to go into face mode. I'm just going to S to scale that down a little bit, and then G and Z to make that a little bit more stubby in terms of height. Then we're going to want an object to cut out the center. Now you could do this by using the I to inset and then E to extrude down, but we don't want that. We want something that we can change later on, so that wouldn't be as appropriate as what we're going to do in this instance because we might want to change it later. So I'm going to Shift and D to duplicate it, right click, and then S to scale this down, get it to about the thickness you want the walls, and then G and Z and just bring that up so it just sticks out the top so we've got a little bit of an overlap. And as we're going to use this to cut out the center, I'm going to press F2 and call this center cutter. Then we'll make the object that's going to cut out the detailing around the sides. So let's Shift A, Mesh, and bring in a cube. I'm going to S and then Y to scale it on the Y axis, something kind of small there. Let's S and then Z to scale that up. Let's go with about that. Maybe actually a bit higher so we're above the bit that's going to cut out the center. So let's just go to there. And then we'll S and then X to scale that on the X axis, Control and A and apply the scale again. And just to add some interesting detailing, let's go into edge mode. I should say that when I press tab and you see these different modes here, that's because I'm using Machine Tools. Machine Tools is a $5 add-on that's got a load of extra features as well. I really like this because I find it quicker to use, but the main reason I'm using this is because it means it's very visible what mode I'm going into when I do tutorials. So you don't need to use this for this. You can be perfectly happy just using tab and then coming up here or 1, 2 and 3 to change between the modes. Let's Control and R to bring in an edge loop, go to about there and click, and then go into face mode, and I'm going to select that face and press Alt and E to activate our extrude options. Click extrude faces along normals and bring that out to about there. Then we'll go back into object mode with tab, and I'm just going to Shift and D to duplicate it, press R and then Z to move that or rotate it around the Z axis, and just type in 90. We can see that goes in the top left hand corner to say what we're doing. Hit enter, and then we've got this slight issue with some face fighting here which can cause Boolean errors. There are a lot of ways around this, but I'm going to go with the slightly lazy way of just pressing G, Z and just moving this up by the tiniest of fractions, and then we've got that ready to go. Now we are going to want to boolean these together into one object, and we're going to be using booleans a lot. So if you haven't activated an add-on called Bool Tool, it comes with Blender. Just type in bool and then activate Bool Tool, and then you've got that good to go. And that means that instead of having to go to the modifier menu here, you can just click and then shift click, press Control and then plus on your number pad to do that boolean. And I'm just going to select that second object and press H to hide it. And then because we're not going to change this object, let's just go into our modifier menu and then apply this. Then finally, when I cut this out, this is going to cut all the way through the object, but I want to add almost like an inset here. You'll see what I mean as we do this if you're not sure what I'm talking about. So I'm just going to come back to this object, Shift and D, escape, and then S to just scale it down a little bit. We'll go with something like there, and that will work fine. Now let's name everything. We've already named this to be our center cutter. I'm going to press F2 and we'll call this detail cutter. And then I'm just going to go into X-ray mode and select the one that's here, and we're going to call that F2 and we're going to call that inset cutter. So we've now got everything that we need ready to go, and I'm going to call this collection, so let's just rename this example 1. And then what we're going to do is select everything that's here, Shift and D, and then X, and then I'm going to press M to move this to a new collection, and we'll call this example 2. Okay, and then let's do the same thing, Shift and D, and then one more time, and then M. I'm going to call this example 3. So I'm just going to reorder this so it's a bit clearer. So we've got example 1, these objects, example 2, which are these, and then example 3, which are these, and we're going to Boolean these each in a different order and talk about, well, what's the right order, the wrong order, and then why. Now, just as a side point, there isn't really a right and wrong order. The one that I'd probably say is most wrong is going to be the one over here. I think it actually causes problems, but we will even look at a situation why this would be potentially correct. So we will talk about the positives and negatives of all of them. So let's start with this method over here. Now what I'm going to do is start by deleting out the center section. So I'm going to select my center cutter, shift click, control and minus, and then we've got that cutting out the middle. I'm actually going to get rid of the inset cutter for now just so we can see what's going on, and then we'll select this, shift click and control and minus here as well. So we've now got this object and we're cutting all the way through, but I actually want this to be an inset so I can see this detailing, but it's more structurally solid, which is useful if you're 3D printing, and it also gives you somewhere if you're painting it that you can sort of put inks into, and it actually almost accentuates the detail even though there's something there. So what I need to do is bring back my inset cutter, and I need to add this, so click and shift click and control plus, back to my object. The only problem is, I'm just going to H to hide that detail cutter, is that now it's totally encompassed the middle section. So I'm going to go back to my center cutter, find my inset cutter, which is here. I'll just click over here using control, as it's a bit easier than selecting it this way, and then control and minus, and cut that out again. So we've cut the center section out of the original bit, and then we've also cut it out from the middle. So let's just H and H, and then we'll come back to this, and why this is probably not the right choice, but you often see people doing this and ending up with this order structure if you're creating your cutters as you go. Now this one's going to be a bit more of a sensible ordering. What we're going to do is I'm going to click the detail cutter, shift click the main object, control and minus to cut that out, and then we can H to hide this cutter. Then I'm going to take the inset cutter, the one that's adding the inset, and then shift click and control and plus to then add this to this object. So now we've got one thing that is here. And then finally we can take the center cutter, click and control and minus, and that has deleted everything out last, which is a little bit more efficient, and we'll talk about why and the positives and negatives of that. The final method, which I would say is generally the better one, but it's up to you and what you're doing, is to actually look at this detail cutter and think about this first. What I'm actually going to do is take my cylinder that's the main body, and I'm going to hide that over here, and I'm going to realize that this inset, if I remove this from the detail cutter, then I'm not going to have to add this in later. So what I'm going to do is find my inset cutter, shift click, control and minus, and cut out a section of what is going to be this detail cutter. What this then means I can do is bring back my cylinder and delete this from the cylinder, and you'll notice that it is added that inset perfectly all in one go. Click there, H, and then I can delete out the center. So let's H to hide that as well. So we've got 3 objects here that theoretically are identical. There's no difference between the end result in theory, but there is actually quite a lot of difference. So let's start with this one. Now, this one has got a problem. Our example 1 has got an issue. And that issue, it's not a massive one, but it can cause a lot of problems, is that we have to delete our center cutter from the main object. But we then realized we had a problem and also deleted it from our inset cutter. So if I click on the inset cutter, we can see we've deleted that center cutter from that as well. Now what that means is that if I'm going to choose to move my center cutter at any point, it is simultaneously affecting 2 objects at the same time. So if I press G and start moving this around, you can see it's a little bit jerky. That's because it's trying to affect 2 objects at the same time, and Blender's trying to do more maths. If I just escape out of that, Whereas in any of these other two, we'll just pick this one, if I return my center cutter for this one and press G, you can see I don't have that stuttering that you saw. So I could then move and change this. Let's say, for example, I decided to scale this center up, and it's not causing Blender to have to do more computations at the same time. So this slows down the process by having it act on two objects. I'll also say that doing it this way can cause problems with the mesh when you combine them together, and you can actually see there's starting to be a bit of an issue here because the cutters are getting confused being on top of each other. So generally you want to avoid having one cutter cutting through multiple objects. Now there are exceptions to every rule, and I think it's important I point that out. So what I'm doing now is creating something that might be like a hinge joint, and creating something where we're going to want a hole going through separate objects. So with this, realistically, we're not going to want to boolean this object to this object because they're not actually touching in any way. So we're going to come here, control and minus, and then here and control and minus. And in this instance, this cylinder is acting on both this object and this object. So it is an exception to the rule, but here that's really important exception, because if I want to, let's say, G and then Y and move this, I need it affecting all of those objects, or it's going to be a pain to make sure that that lines up. So as I said, there are exceptions to the rule, and we always need to bear that in mind, and I wouldn't want to miss that out. Now, this object has some positives to it, and the main positive of doing it this way is that everything was booleaned out of the final cylinder that we can see. At the moment, everything is hidden and we can just see this object. And that means that when I click on it, I can see all of the modifiers over in my modifier panel that are acting on this object. I have instant access and can view each one of them very, very quickly. Now that's nice because I can have a quick cursory glance at what I'm doing, which is always helpful. And if you have got something like the add-on Hard Ops, which is an absolutely amazing add-on, there's a link in the description where I've got a playlist on that. I can use one of the functions, which is called Everscroll, to then scroll through all three objects that are acting on my cylinder. And I can quite quickly come to one of them, click them, and then modify it. So that's a useful feature of this, that we have them all there and visible in one go. Let's just hide that. Now this one is actually my preferred method. And that is because having the inset cutter remove itself from one of the other cutters means that for my cylinder, I now only have two booleans activated. Now this is slightly more efficient for Blender from what I can tell, because when you get into really complex objects with lots and lots of booleans, it seems to have less problems moving any of those individual cutters and modifying them. So from my experience anecdotally, this is more efficient for Blender and how it processes everything. The other thing that's nice about this is I'm only dealing with those two cutters. It makes this less messy. It also adds a nice hierarchy. So for example here, if I do use that Everscroll function and say, well, that's the center cutter, that's the detail cutter, I've only got those two to look at and consider. So say for example, I wanted to come to this one and then click on it and scale it up, I can do. But if I do want to access the detailing, I can come to the detailing. And then now, while I'm using the detailing, I can, for example, see just the union that's affecting this detail. So it means that this is obvious, or at least more obvious, in what this boolean is doing. And again, if I've got hard ops, I can ever scroll and then come to this one. So it adds a nice hierarchy where you can move down your different objects and know which one is affecting which. Whereas with this one, the idea that this inset cutter is having an effect on the detail cutter isn't as obvious. Now either way for this, the final stage is to shift and A, mesh, bring in a cone, and then we can see that cone here. Let's put that to 128. Then we're going to add to the depth, probably somewhere about there, and then add to that radius 1, and then in cross section we're just going to have to see that we're going to need G and Z that down slightly, and then we can boolean that in and we've got our jet engine. And I just wanted to finish that so you know how we would end this, and we would then click shift click control and plus to add that in. Now we could do that with either of these objects. As I said, I don't think this is a very efficient way of working and is going to cause you problems in the long run if you're making a complex object. One of these is probably the better choice. It just depends on how you like your booleans being shown in the modifier panel and if you prefer that hierarchy. Hopefully you found that useful. If you did, please do hit the like button. It does help spread the video around. If this is something you already considered or don't, Or if you think this is a complete waste of time, do feel free to say in the comments section. I got called a Blender nerd the other day because I think about these things, but you know what, I'm perfectly happy with that if it's going to make me more efficient in my modelling. And I'm not sure what the person expected when going online and watching a video on Blender on YouTube. And for most of us, I imagine we appreciate these little tricks because it gives us the level of control we want in our modelling projects. If you are interested in machine tools or hard ops, there are some links in the description as well. They are affiliate links, which means that if you use them to purchase any of these add-ons, it does help the channel out as well. And there are playlists for both of those add-ons in the description as well, if there's something that you want to look into. But for modelling like this, they're not a necessity, they're just something that makes life easier. Have a great day, guys.